Hey, what's up? It's Jake from Nimbus DevOps, and we are on the last section of Module 1 for learning Python programming. And I'm going to finish this off with talking a little bit about Python culture before we get into doing our own coding projects. So, Python's widely adopted all over the world, many industries, right? It's used by tons of different companies. It's great for learning, as you'll find out now that we've gone over the complicated stuff and you're probably frustrated. Um, and it's very simple, which makes it easy to learn, right? It encourages good habits, especially for readability, and it's really just it's a platform agnostic programming language. It supports a lot of different object-oriented programming paradigms. Um, and I think that one of the reasons it's so popular is just is because of the community, right? And the community is amazing. So the people who use Python are what make it so great. They even have events all over the world that you can attend. You can go to conventions, meetups, just all kinds of different stuff. Python is open source, so that in itself does come with its own uh, cultural nuances. And very often, the people who embrace Python kind of have similar minds in some ways in that regard. There's definitely community pages and stuff like that you can follow if you're into it. There's podcasts on it. You can find YouTube series, documentaries, and movies and stuff like that where people use Python. There's another aspect of Python, and that's like the whole notion of being Pythonic. And if you hear this, it has to do with whether you use some idioms that really aren't found anywhere else. And you will find that when you start learning a programming language, that the way you learn that language and the nuances of that language lend themselves to have an idiom that doesn't necessarily transfer to every other programming language. And people can tell, oh, yeah, he's a Python guy, and that's why he says that, or she says this way, and that makes sense. So being able to communicate is important. But understanding and learning that language is actually a good thing too, because you want to be able to communicate to other people in the industry that use Pythonic type idioms. Um, so don't worry about that too much. Just know that sometimes if you're from the South and people are like, "Do you have an accent?" Sometimes when you learn a programming language, you have people pick up on little things about the way that you do things. So just know that that's a thing, and it's not a bad thing. It's just something you have to be aware of. Um, it's uh, it's a little bit. Um, I think there's something I can show you. I think it's called the Zen of Python. Uh, yeah, PEP 20, the Zen of Python. This is a little cheesy, right? But there is a little Easter egg that you can import that's kind of fun. So if you want to try that, I won't give it away. Go ahead and try that. Um, just you can literally type import this in an interactive shell, and you'll have a nice little Easter egg there. But this is basically just some of the feelings people have toward Python and its idiom and its construct that are what Python and Pythonistas and Pythonic minded people consider to be true. Um, so there's two ways to look at this, the Zen of Python. So you can look at it as like a set of guidelines, right? Um, that are kind of fun, like they're saying it in a fun way. Um, the other thing is to just kind of consider every now and then that it might refer to something deeper, like beautiful is better than ugly. Well, what does that mean? And it's like it's a fun thing, but every now and then maybe just reflect on some of the readability counts. And when you find bugs, I think it's always fun when you fix an error to go back and be like, what was wrong? And then when you fix it, go back to the Zen of Python and go, which one of these things describes uh, the advice that you would give somebody to avoid making that same mistake? And I think that's kind of a fun way to do things. It's a way to tie those in. But so, anyways, yeah, check it out. you do the import this. If you ever need to know uh, anything about the Zen of Python, you don't need to know where to find this. You'll figure it out eventually once you try to the Easter egg, and we'll go from there. So PEP 8 for style, PEP 20 for the Zen. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the module 1, and now we're going to get into module 2. So go ahead and create a GitHub account and make a nice little private repo for this for now, or make it public if you choose to, and you want to share it with other people. And we're going to start getting our hands dirty. Have fun.